Hey, everybody, and welcome back to the On Deck podcast. We are a Prospects Live podcast, the general baseball podcast, as we've been called, baseball potpourri, as we've been called. Most recently, we've been called 20 episodes old. Wow. Look at us go, guys. The little engine that still may. They said we'd never make it, but look at us now. I can't believe it. It's a treat. And with you, as always, your hosting team, starting, of course, with our director of amateur scouting, never hatless coach, Nate Rasmussen. Nate, what up?
Hello, and we have our first recurring guests on this episode. So
yes,
we got the kid back, the 6'8" giant. So yeah, it's good to be here with my three favorite people.
Well, isn't that nice? I'm interested to figure out who the third one is. I see Rhys, I see Will, but we'll figure them out later. Speaking of one half of your favorite people, for sure, it is the face of baseball media, the free-range human, the middleman, and of course, the director of pro scouting at Prospects Live. It's Rhys White. Rhys, hi.
Hi, I never get tired of those fantastic nicknames. I absolutely love them.
I know.
The middleman is actually my favorite. I really need to start playing into that bit more.
It's a good bit. I think free range human is probably the weakest of these, which is saying a lot because it's very good. That's a great nickname.
Yeah, I kind of like the free range human because I've never really had anything that would require. So I'm all me. Yes, is the best way to put it. I don't know. I don't have any like repaired ligaments or anything yet.
I'm all me.
I'm all me.
I'm all me, baby. And thanks, Rhys. Good to know.
I'm telling Danielle after this.
I'm all me, baby. And as Nate alluded to, our first recurring guest, he is your friend and mine, starting at center for On Deck, standing in at 6'10" and 1/4 inch tall. From where'd you go to college?
Hofstra University.
From Hofstra University, this is Slick Willie Thompson. Will, what's up?
Hello. I'm honored to be the first recurring guest. It's been quite the week in baseball, but I'm fired up. Thanks to you guys for having me back. I'm really excited.
Absolutely. And finally, it is of course your least favorite host, but your host, your friend, your boy, nonetheless, the man with no title, the man with no hair, the man with no energy, Drew Wheeler. What it do? Boys, we've just experienced a fun event on the Major League calendar, the Major League Baseball Draft. And today, we're going to break it down. I think we ought to go ahead and dive right into it. Nate, how's that sound?
Let's do it. Kick it to the draft teams, huh?
Rhys, how's that sound?
Sounds fantastic.
Will, how's that sound?
It's a great plan, Drew. I'm all in on it.
All right. 3 out of 4 say we should do it, so let's do it.
And the boys in the corner are trying to figure you out. I don't want to play that game. I don't want to know your name.
And we are back. Thank you to the Drop Teens for their lovely, lovely music in our ears. We're enjoying it, and we're so thankful for them. 20 episodes of their music. Hopefully some of you have listened to it outside of the show. I know I have. Good call, Nate, on the Drop Teens. That has been a fruitful partnership for sure. So, guys, MLB Draft. We are at 1 week away from, or we're 1 week removed from the draft, I should say, excuse me. And it was an interesting one. I think to say it was chaotic might be selling it a little short at the top of the draft, but I don't want to bury the lead. Let's get into the chat. Let's get into the madness with the 2025 MLB Draft. Boys, I'm thinking roundtable discussion for this. I think that's probably the best way to go about it. So we're probably going to get into everything, maybe some overlap, but I know we've got a couple of topics here in the rundown, and we will get to them. Let's start at the top. And by that, I mean quite literally, Nate, you're at the top of the screen. We're going to start with you. So, Nate, favorite picks. Let's say you can give a favorite pick. We'll get opinions from around the chat, and then you'll give another one, and we'll get everybody to give 2 favorite picks. How about?
Let's do it. The first one I've highlighted, I feel like I've been talking draft nonstop for the last week and a half or whatever, and I might have already played most of my cards. So I'm going to go with someone who I haven't talked about as much, Josh Hammond to the Kansas City Royals at 28. I thought was a fantastic pick. I thought of the prepsters in that area, as far as bats go, by far the most upside of any selection kind of available. And they took Sean Gamble at 23 and Hammond at 28, which was kind of a surprise to me. I would have expected it to be maybe backwards, but I love the Josh Hammond pick for the Kansas City Royals. I thought that they had a really good draft, and that was my favorite pick of theirs. So I'm interested to hear what the fellas' thoughts are on that pick.
I'll go first since my data is going to be less good than these guys. I like Josh Hammond a lot. I think that it's a good org fit. And like you said, I thought that it might be flipped too in my mind with he and Gamble, but neither here nor there. Will, you are our guest, and we'll throw it to you first. Also, you can take the ball from us, being that you're so tall. So that's what being 6'10" will do for you. So, Will, please tell us what's your thoughts on Hammond.
Yeah, I was a really big fan of the pick in Hammond, and he's a really good athlete, and a guy who's formerly a two-way, not as much, probably won't be as much anymore. But I think the fit was really good. I think Hammond, compared to the other prep guys that went earlier in that first round, I think Hammond is a guy that I was a little bit higher on than some of the guys that went ahead of him. So I thought the value was really good. And Hammond's definitely one of my favorite prep players from this draft. And so I was a fan of the pick. And I think the Royals did a great job. I'm a big fan of the fit and the player as well. Definitely one to watch pretty soon, and a guy who's going to be pretty high up in the Royals in those Royals organizational rankings pretty soon, right off the bat.
Interesting teaser. Rhys, your thoughts on Josh Hammond, sir?
I think that it's a really good selection. I really would have. I thought that he was going to get drafted before some of the other prep hitters in that part of the draft, like Nate mentioned. It's good power. I think that it's a good athlete, and maybe if things don't work out with him for the bat, maybe he can be a fallback option. Being maybe he goes back onto the mound. I don't think we're going to see him two-way as much as I would like to, but I think it was a really good pick, and I'm surprised that he lasted that long.
It's interesting, Rhys. I love what you brought up there about the two-way potential, because that is something that a two-way guy can always fall back on. Worst case scenario, you have that background, and maybe it works out, and it's another kind of an avenue for success for those kinds of guys. Very good, Nate. We'll keep it with you, man. Your second favorite pick.
Just going real quick back to Hammond, I think there's real potential for it to be like a 50 hit, 60 power, above average fielding guy with one of the better arms in Major League Baseball at his peak. I mean, we've seen him throw like 97 off the bump. So I just think it's such an intriguing profile if it all clicks. I think the hit tool is the only question mark, but it seems pretty secure from kind of what I've seen. My next favorite pick. Do we want to go off the board a little bit here or stay in the first round, Drew? What do you think?
I feel like I would go off the board a little bit, but I'm very much an off the board kind of fella. So it's your call though, buddy. This is Nate time. I'm on Nate's time now.
Absolutely. Well, so in that case, then I'm going to go Zane Taylor. The Athletics picked him in the 5th round out of UNC Wilmington, and this is just a ready-made starting pitcher who's a little old, and he's going to go fast through that system. I think a similar development timeline to someone like Jamie Arnold is realistic here, with him debuting in probably under a year and a half if everything goes right. It's 4 really good pitches. The fastball's up to the upper 9s with pretty good shape on it too. And he started for 4 years in a row at UNC Wilmington. He's 23 years old, which is like the one drawback, which is why I went in the 5th round for more slottish money. But he's a command guy with good stuff who's got good velocity on the fastball. And I think pro orgs are going to see that and be like, we don't have to tinker with much. Maybe he'll go to Stuff Camp this fall and add a little bit to the off-speed offerings, because they aren't, they're nothing more than 50s in my eyes right now. But it's a bunch of 50s with really, really plus command. And I like that. A mid-major arm, a little older. I just think it's all the tools in the world that you could look for when you're drafting a pitcher in the 5th round. It's a ready-made starter, in my opinion. And I'm just a big fan of Zane Taylor. And I saw him at the Combine, and he was a scout favorite there, too. So I'm almost surprised he went as low as the 5th round.
It is interesting. I remember you talked about him from the Combine, and Zane and I have a lot of things in common. So if you like guys of advanced age and you like guys who are very quick, that bodes well for me, Nate, with your opinion of me. Rhys, we're going to go to you. Zane Taylor, your opinions of him from UNC Wilmington. What's the thoughts?
I kind of threw him onto the back of the Sacramento Athletics list. I'm just going to call them Sacramento Athletics. That's where they're at. I think that what Nate said is perfect. He's going to move quickly through that system. I don't think there's a crazy amount of upside, but it's a floor play in the 5th round. Which if you get anything from a 5th rounder, that's something to celebrate. You know, the scout gets excited. It's a big deal. So we're talking about upper 90 stuff. An organization that has shown an ability to develop pitchers. So I'm excited to see what he does in the Sacramento Athletics organization.
Well, he's got stuff. He's a pretty ready-made pitcher. Any water to throw on this, or are you right alongside?
Yeah, I'm also. Oh, I'm
sorry. I thought that was me.
Did you throw that to me?
Yeah,
I might have said
I didn't hear
Rhys.
your
I
name.
thought
You said Will.
I could have swore I
might
said
not.
Will.
You said Will.
Oh, my bad. That's
Darn it.
That's okay. Will, please go ahead.
Okay, well, yeah, I think Zane Taylor is he's a guy that I really liked and getting to watch him a little bit in the CAA. And he's a guy that, you know, as has been previously mentioned, more of a floor play in that A's system that's done a good job developing arms recently. You know, it's a fastball that can get up around 96, 97. And a guy that I also think has a chance to really stick as a starter. I mean, both the slider and the cutter are both really strong offerings as well. The fastball, it's not a guy that I think is going to dominate per se or miss a ton of bats. But I think the stuff is really good. In particular, that slider cutter combination had a lot of success with it at UNCW, especially in the 5th round. I think if you end up taking a guy in round 5 that ultimately ends up as a decent shot to be a back end big league starter, I think that's a profile you take the gamble on. And especially it seems like lately that's what the A's have been looking for and trying to stack as many of those guys in their system as they can. And I think Taylor's just the latest example of that.
Well said. Hey, good call. Rhys, curious, man, if you want to go through a favorite pick of yours, I would love to hear it.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna list. Well, I guess we're moving quickly here. I'm gonna go with Caden Bodine. I cannot believe that he fell to that point in the draft. We ranked him as, like, you know, Nate and I were pretty high on him. I think, Will, you were also pretty high on him. Drew, I think you're high on him as well because he's a catcher. Caden Bodine lasting to the 30th overall selection is kind of bonkers to me. The fact that no teams popped a ready-made, quick moving, plus hitting defender at catcher kind of blew my mind. But, you know, teams make mistakes all the time. Is the power maybe 30 on a good day? Yeah, maybe it rounds up to a 40. But yeah, I'm just surprised that he lasted this long. And also Patrick Forbes. I love the fastball. I would have drafted him much higher than the Diamondbacks got him. Getting him as your second selection, I like that a lot.
Well said. Will, really quick, any thoughts on either Forbes or Bodine?
Yeah, both guys are two options that I was a big fan of as well. I was surprised that Bodine, especially with a guy who's consistently shown that he can make contact, hit line drives all over the field, and be an excellent defensive player behind the plate. I'm surprised that profile fell. I think with the way that the Orioles were able to come out with Irish and Aloy in that huge day one haul that they came up with. I think it was a really good haul that they ended up getting. And Forbes, I think, as well. I mean, we've talked about the fastball. We've talked about the fastball a lot, and that's a type of fastball that tends to do really well in pro ball. The delivery is kind of violent, but it works for him. I think there's a floor of a pretty solid back end reliever, honestly, for Patrick Forbes, and I think that's an enticing option to have. So I think both were among some of my favorite guys early on in day one. So I think Bodine and Forbes both are really good picks.
Well said. Nate, we've discussed these guys ad nauseum with On Deck. It seems like those are two very big on deck guys. Caden Bodine and Patrick Forbes. Any quick thoughts on those dudes?
I think Forbes was drafted right around the perfect area in my head. I think that there's plenty of question marks still, but I think it's a super fun fit for Arizona. Instantly one of the most exciting guys in their system. And then we talk about Bodine a lot, and And I think we can all understand why he did slide until 30. Here's my question for you guys, and not to derail us too much here, but do we love the fit with the Orioles? Because Bodine's a guy who could be ready in a year and a half. So is he the successor of Adley Rutschman? Because he has starting catcher written all over him with the plus defense and contact skills. So what are the Orioles going to do there?
Oof.
It's
a good question.
Right?
It's a good question. I mean, personally, I think even though Adley's a little banged up at the moment, I think that I'm still a big believer in him. And I think even if Bodine with the defense that he provides, I think that's what makes it work. It's not necessarily a bat first catcher, which can serve more as a compliment to Adley, potentially get him at first a little bit, potentially get him at first a little more, I think, long term, to try and kind of expand the shelf life there. And I think Adley's going to bounce back. He's had a bad year, but I think a lot of the metrics are pointing up on him when he comes back. Hopefully he can continue it. But I think with Bodine in the mix, I don't view it necessarily as Adley competition, but I do think it's more of a supplement to him that could potentially help Adley out and kind of extend more of his prime run, that if he doesn't have to catch him a big number of innings, and you feel very, very comfortable with Bodine behind the plate.
It's a great tandem.
I think so also. Rhys, any thoughts on that really quickly, buddy? The fit with Baltimore and Caden Bodine.
I think that you guys touched on everything really well. Honestly, Adley, he's been dealing banged up, and catching prospects are just catchers in general are weird. So I think that having two good catching options is good. The one question is does he go play first base? Because they have a million first basemen in the organization as well. They have Ryan O'Hearn, who they're probably going to trade. Samuel Basallo. I'm not expecting Bodine to be up anytime soon. Kobe Mayo, the forgotten man, some are saying. As well. So it's an interesting thing. This organization sort of needs to figure out what they want to do. I wouldn't be surprised if this offseason they were aggressive in some trades. But then again, Michael Elias will still be there, so I don't think they'll be very aggressive in anything they do except for trading for draft picks. So yeah, it's very confusing to project out what the Orioles are going to do, because they should do something, but they refuse to do it.
Well said. All right, let's move past favorites. Let's talk negative. I hate doing this, but it seems like you guys really love being negative. Maybe I can rub off on you a little bit, all of you negative Nancys here. Well, I don't mean that to you, son. I don't mean that. That's no. Your daddy Matt would beat me if I said that. Let's talk least favorite picks. Nate, we'll keep it with you to start. Give me your least favorite pick, and maybe a little bit of insight as to why it's your least favorite.
I mean, me and Will had this conversation. Tate South of what now to Atlanta? I mean, what? What are we? And I've tried to rationalize it, because after it was similar to the Bremner selection, where you see it so high and you're like, where did I go wrong? Or whatnot. And I can see it with Bremner. I can see where I went wrong with Bremner. I can see why teams liked him more. I have failed to see why Tate Southesine should have been the 22nd overall selection. And I do believe we got the bonus value out. Saved him about 1.4 mil, which is significant. If I'm gonna save that much money in the first round, I don't think Tate Southesine's the guy that I'm trying to save the money on. I just don't. I don't get it. I don't love saving money in a prepster in the first round. I think that's kind of, they fall into that category where I just don't love that draft strategy unless you're maybe swinging for the fences. Like if this was like Quentin Young, I might even be more excited about it because they're saving money and swinging for the fences. I don't think that this is the selection I would have made here. And I think most of you guys agree, but I would love if someone had a counter argument. But I don't know if we're even going to find that here, because we all seem to agree with this Tate Southesine to Atlanta selection.
All right, how about this? Rhys, in one word, do you disagree?
I do not disagree at all. He was the person I was going to talk about.
Well, one word.
That's all one word. It's all pushed together.
Hyphenated? Thank you.
Well, one word, no.
If you want to expand further, Will, you may. Rhys did as well.
I mean, yeah, just really briefly. I mean, I like I think that there's definitely some defensive upside, but at the end of the day, it's not one I really understand, because you're probably talking, if everything goes perfectly, you're talking a 50 hit, 50 power guy. And while the defense is solid, it's not elite. I think that if I have no problem with going the route of wanting to save some money, I just don't think he's the one that I don't think he'd be the player that I would do that with. And one of the guys that we talked about earlier, if you potentially wanted to save a little bit of money, I mean, I'm not 100% sure, like talking hypothetically, but I would have been much more inclined to go with a guy like Hammond than Tate Southstein at that point.
The one word answer you're searching for, Nate, from Drew is no. And I'll even compound this problem. So they're going to save money. I mean, we can all agree to that. It's a money saving method, right? For what?
Rhys McKenzie. They paid him. They paid him and Connor Essenberg a lot. Essenberg got 1.2 mil.
So okay, so we're going to spend all that money on Essenberg and McKenzie.
And not two players that I don't like.
Hands up and back away from that draft. I hope it works. The Braves have proven smarter than me for years. I mean, it's about time for me to be smarter than the Braves, just based on how this has gone historically. But I don't trust me to do that. Maybe they have slipped, and I have stayed relatively steady, though. All right, Nate, good call on the least favorite. We'll go to you next, since I think Rhys is probably searching for another least favorite, since Nate stole his. Will, your least favorite pick, who are you looking at with disdain in your eyes?
So,
first of all, look at all the hate in this man's eyes, guys. I'm afraid of all the hate in Will Thompson's eyes.
Hate in my eyes?
Yeah, your eyes are bright red and furious. I'm scared.
Right, I'm just livid. Anyway,
what did the Red Sox do today?
Oh.
No, so I think the guy that points out to me that sticks out to me as a pick that didn't really make any sense was Cleveland in round 3 taking Nolan Schubert. I'm not really a big fan of the player. And if you want to, he's obviously big body. He's 6'5", 6'6", has a ton of raw power. Then you think, okay, is this the Spencer Jones profile? No, it is not, because Nolan Schubert cannot play defense in the outfield. So he's probably a first baseman. He doesn't hit spin very well, and he's another guy that when pro ball comes around and velocity goes up, those longer limb guys struggle to catch up to velocity a lot of the times. There's so much swing and miss. I'm not, and the hit tool is really going to concern me, and which I don't necessarily have a huge problem with that type of profile, but you gotta give some speed. You gotta provide some good outfield defense the way that Spencer Jones does as a comparison. But I just don't think that Schubert does that. He played the outfield at Oklahoma State, was not particularly good defensively out there. So first base is probably where his home is. And there's a lot of questions to make that work as a first base bat that I'm taking in the 3rd round if I'm Cleveland. A lot of people don't like Jace Laviolette, who they took in the 1st round. I'm not the biggest Laviolette fan either, but I understand taking the swing on him with the power upside with the way that they did in the 1st round, and there's a lot of other things he can do. But I think with Schubert, it's very one-dimensional, and taking 2 of those guys in the top 3 rounds is I'm just not a fan of it.
Rhys, Will brings up a good point, and I know that you historically have loved first base prospects. So I'm curious, Nolan Schubert, is this a guy that you're interested in, or do you agree with Will that it's very much, why are we drafting this? We have Jace Laviolette at home.
I wrote a list. This is going to shock you guys. I actually prepared for a podcast. And Schubert was my number 2 selection on picks that I didn't like. It's maybe on a good day 30 hit tool, even with the approach. I know he draws a lot of walks, but you draw a lot of walks against Big 12 guys. So it's not like it's the highest sample size by any means. He chases so much. I don't understand the pick. I don't understand what the Guardians did, but that's not what I'm going to talk about. I'll talk about that later, maybe, unless I get snaked on that one too.
Nate, any thoughts on Schubert specifically?
Just left-handed power, and I suppose at pick 100 you can try and take that guy, but while it appears like there's a lot of upside with him, I'm not necessarily seeing it. I think he whiffs too much in general, and it will even play first base, or is he just a DH? Like lower minors, maybe he'll play some first, but like one of the worst defenders in college, like out there. So I just don't see it with upside. I think Will nailed it.
Could be. Will, great job. Hey, all that fury paid off, man. It worked out well. Rhys, we're gonna go to you now. Your least favorite pick, buddy. Who are you ready to throw the daggers at?
Can we still be friends if I mention a Tennessee player, Drew?
It's unlikely, but I mean we could try it.
I do not understand Gavin Keelan at that point in the draft. I would have rather almost anybody else that was drafted around him. I mean, they're probably going to pay him full-ish slot, which is around $5 million, 5.3, I think is what the slot is for that pick. I don't understand it at all. I don't think Gavin Keelan, he's kind of like falls into this second base bucket of prospects that I just don't really care for in general. Does he have incredible power? No. Is he a good defender? No. Honestly, like even at second base, I think it's going to be kind of rough. Is he a left fielder? Kind of, maybe. I don't like the pick. I don't like where they drafted him. I don't like the opportunity cost of other things that could have happened for them in their draft because they're going to select him. I mean, unless they get a massive saving with him, but I don't think they are because let's be honest, Tennessee's going to pony up the NIL money for him probably if there's even some sort of doubt. So I just don't. Gavin Keelan is one of the more confusing picks. It's kind of like drafting like a Jace Young. I think in the year of 2025, drafting that sort of second base prospect just isn't for me.
Okay. Nate, we're going to take it to you, buddy. Gavin Keelan. Rhys says it's a confusing choice. Curious what Nate says.
I hate to be just the agree guy on all the time, but I cannot agree more. Gavin Keelan was a good college player, a great college player. Don't get me wrong here, Drew, but the Giants, who normally swing for upside in the draft, like took one of the least upsidey picks in the top 15, maybe the most, and he crushes fastballs. But that's about it. And spin's about to get a lot better at this next level. And the fastballs are about to get a lot better too. He was pretty good against spin and off speed in college, but he wasn't next level. Let's see how that translates when it gets even better. I'm just not sure if there's anything to be super excited about if you're a Giants fan there.
Will, a lot of negativity for Gavin Keelan. Do you echo this, my friend?
Unfortunately, I do, and I think Nate brought up a lot of what I was going to hit on, and the problems with the struggles with spin that he's had, and to me, if you're going to take a guy that it's going to be a second baseman and is not going to be, and you're not confident, you're taking a guy who's going to play second base, you're taking him that high, and you're also. He's got to be, and he's not the greatest defender either. There's got to be some significant upside offensively there, and I just don't think that Keelan has that. So I just think I think there are points in the draft where certainly a guy like that is pretty good value. I don't think it's at pick 13. I don't think so at all, especially when they don't save any money as a result of that.
Drew, you deserve a response here, though.
I think that anybody that could compliment Iva Arquette and then speak down on Gavin Keelan is talking out of both sides of their mouth. None of you have done that, though. I think that it's a lot of the same kind of vibe of we know who they are. Will it ever be anything plus, or is it just a sack of 50s? You all bring up good points, and I can't argue with any of it. I mean, I watched more Tennessee, I'd wager, than any of us this year. And I mean, Keelan did struggle against spin. I mean, you see guys that could spin the ball really well. He struggled against their secondaries. I mean, a fastball, straight ball, he hit very well. Slow ball, curve ball, he not hit so well, if I can quote Pedro Serrano. No, all of you made really valid points. I can't argue with any of it. You made good points. On the scale, go ahead, Rhys.
I think even you're just looking at the college players that were drafted after him, right? Like, okay, let's say Kyson Witherspoon. Maybe they weren't going to draft a pitcher, which is they can make that choice. But Merrick Houston, Ethan Conrad, Ike Irish, Andrew Fisher, I would just rather have any of those guys. I think Ethan Conrad is someone who teams are saying just look at what this guy's done and then look what we're projecting more for him to come. I believe I saw somewhere that it was the contact rate zone, contact and just contact rate in general went up, and he jumped from D2 to the ACC, the second best conference in the country. Where it just means less. I just think we're talking about that sort of guy. Merrick Houston's a no doubt shortstop. It was just an interesting point of the draft where I think that they could have gone a million other ways, even if they weren't going to go prep, which is interesting because it's probably what the strength of this draft was. And I mean, we can talk about it later, but I think it also hurt the rest of their draft as well. But this is to be expected from an organization that doesn't like math anymore.
I was about to say,
Yeah.
we're not looking at some of the numbers that Buster Posey may be looking at. For instance, we all talk about our advanced metrics. We talk about StatCast. That dog in Gavin Keelan, that's a 99th percentile dog in it. So maybe that's what Posey was looking at. It's hard to say.
That's the number he's looking at.
He ranks very highly on expected grit.
X grit, if you will. X grit, if you will.
But I think if the Giants were looking for a high floor college middle infielder, Merrick Houston's the guy. I don't think. Personally, if that's what they were shooting for, and that was a situation that I had Houston mocked a couple of times to the Giants at 13. If that's what they were looking for, Houston is the guy, because he's going to defend. He's a big league shortstop defensively at the very least, and I like his offensive profile more than I like Gavin Keelan's. So I think if that's where you wanted to go, I agree that the prep shortstops are probably where I would have gone there, like all things considered. But if that's the type of player they were looking at, go with I would have just gone with Merrick Houston there.
If you're going to take a non-primary, like if you're going to take a non-positionally valuable guy, go like Irish, who's got a higher ceiling with the bat.
Right.
And that's a whole nother thing. But yeah, I think that makes sense.
Lots of good points there. Like I said, can't argue with any of that. You guys make very valid points. Let's expand this conversation, shall we? So rather than favorite picks, least favorite picks, let's expand to a team-wide thing. Team winners, team losers. And Will, you are our guest. We're going to start with you. Which team do you think had the strongest draft of any, and why?
So I think there's definitely a few teams that popped to my brain when you asked that question. I think the Brewers and the Twins in particular, they were the two teams that were runner ups, I guess, to what I was thinking. They both had really good drafts as well. For me, I think it's the Oakland, Sacramento, Vegas, whatever you want to call them, the A's. I think the A's had a great draft, and the fact that I legitimately thought that coming in, that if they wanted to save some money early at 11 to shoot for some more upside later, they could go Devin Taylor at 11. I thought that was a legit possibility. Not only did they choose not to underslot at 11, and they picked Jamie Arnold, who fell to them, who I think it's a great value for that selection. They also got Devin Taylor later. And they also got Devin Taylor later at 48. I'm a big fan. I like Gavin Turley as well. He's hit for power consistently at Oregon State. He's hit for power consistently with a wood bat in the Cape Cod League too. I think there's upside with Turley. I know Rhys has talked a lot about Logan Schwab, who can hit, and he had a great year at West Virginia. So I think that was a good pick. Corey Braun from USF. He's a guy who can really spin it. As well, so potential back end starter there. We talked about we were talking about that a little bit earlier, also. But I think I was a big fan of the haul that the A's came away with, especially in those first 10 rounds, and the fact that I think where the A's are where they are in terms of their rebuild, I think you're looking at Jamie Arnold and Devin Taylor as guys who could potentially help you in the big leagues next season. I think this time next year, I don't think that's crazy that Taylor or Arnold could be significant contributors. So I just think the A's had a terrific draft, especially early. And they're a team that I think continues to stack up those young assets to make their mark pretty soon, and especially when they move to Vegas, that team's going to be a problem.
Said, Nate, in one sentence, your thoughts on the Oakland Vegas Athletics draft.
I'm going to ask for 30 seconds here, and I'll go as fast as I can. I think that they were a top draft, but outside of my top 5, because I don't see the huge upside play here. I think I love Jamie Arnold and Devin Taylor. They're going to have to spend a lot of money to get both of those guys, and that hamstrung the rest of their draft. I do not blame them for it, but it's hard for me to put them at number 1 just because looking down the board, they had to get a lot of college guys to save money, and the prep guys down the board like Alex Barr, I don't think are super high-end and swings. I think it's a super sound draft, and it's how they should have drafted. but I don't necessarily see like the super high upside play. I think Devin Taylor and Jamie Arnold kind of are what they are, and they're going to be good big league players, but they're not stars, if that makes sense.
Okay. Rhys, your thoughts on the Athletics draft? Any pushback or any thoughts to Will?
No, I'm 100% in agreement with Will. I'm going to stop telling you guys what I like, and then you guys can stop taking these things from me. But yeah, I'm a big fan of Arnold. Getting him at the 11th overall selection was fantastic value. Taylor is fantastic, and I like Logan Swab a lot. Logan Swab's my guy. It probably goes to his parents, his college coach, and then me. I love the contact first profile from a catcher. He might not ever be anything super crazy, but like, he can stick around as a backup catcher for a very, very long time. The defensive chops are really good. I really like him. So yeah, I think this was a really good draft. Kind of safe, boring, right down the middle. But like, sometimes you have to take the safe and boring. Eat your vegetables, some might say. And that's what what is it called? The Oclamento Vegas Athletics did.
You got it right on the first try, Rhys. You did good with the name there. All right, well, good stuff. Nate, we'll go to you, buddy. Actually, no, we're going to go to Rhys because I don't want to steal another one of Rhys's answers. Rhys, your winner. Which team was the winner?
Oh, dude, I love what the Minnesota Twins did. We talked about how the Sacramento Athletics did not layer a lot of upside in their draft. The Twins decided that they were going to layer upside and floor. They drafted maybe one of the most floor prospects in this entire draft in Merrick Houston, and Riley Quick's a pretty good floor play as well. And then they took the swing of all swings in the second round with Quentin Young. I'm such a big fan of this. They also drafted Jason Wright, who you will see, I've noticed all over TikTok. Everyone's talking about this pitcher who is 6'11". The only person taller than him is Will Thompson. We're talking about like elite extension, good stuff. I think the Commanders will take a step forward, and the Twins do a good job with tall pitchers. I'm gonna let Nate talk about his boy Matt Barr. Bruin Agbayani, really good pick. They always tend to love to draft these guys out of Hawaii. Kalai Rosario starting to show some sort of life as a prospect. And it wouldn't be a Minnesota Twins draft without their dips into Southern California. UC Santa Barbara is technically not Southern California, but if you want to count it, that's fine. Sacramento State's also not, but they went into UC San Diego. They drafted Matthew Dahlquist. They drafted Jimmy Smith in Sacramento State. They drafted Reed Morning from UC Santa Barbara. It's just a really good Twins draft, and just a good draft in general. I think that I would give them an A to A+, and I really like what they did.
Nate, cross-check this man. He said A to A+. Curious if you're in the same boat with Rhys.
Yeah, I gave them an A+ when I was grading drafts. They were also my favorite draft. I would put them at number 1 because they did it at the top of the board and they did it down the board too. Like Callan Fang out of Harvard, like that guy has some pretty elite stuff. Justin Mitrovic, workhorse out of Elon, and then Bruin Agbayani and Matt Barr might be my 2 favorite picks in the draft, and the Twins had them both. I mean, Matt Barr has frontline starter stuff, and he's young. He's coming from JUCO. Like it'll take a little while, but the fastball and off-speed combination super legit there. And then Bruin Agbayani looks like a future leadoff hitter with how poised he is and his on-base skills and good enough defense to get by, probably at third base. Rhys absolutely nailed it. The Twins had an incredible draft.
Well, Rhys and Nate both seem pretty simpatico on this. Now is the opportunity to put your large sizable frame in the middle of them and say, hold on, boys. Are you going to do that, or are you going to side with them here?
Well, I mean, I really do like what the Twins did, and I think in particular with the tall pitchers, and that's what they went for. I mean, Barr's got really good stuff. I was also really intrigued by James Ellwanger too. He's an arm with a high ceiling, but there's definitely some work that has to be done there. He's a sophomore eligible guy, and the stuff is certainly there. You got to work with the breaking ball a little bit as well, and and really teach him how to pitch. But the upside is certainly there. I think I think the Twins had definitely I think the Brewers and the A's were my top 3. So I think the Twins had a really, really strong draft class and a deep draft class as well.
Very good. Very good. Nate, we will pitch it to you. You said that the Twins were your favorite draft class. I'm curious, do you have a number 2 that you want to talk about? Another winner team, so to say.
Yeah, this one might come as a surprise based on their limited resources, but the Los Angeles Dodgers, I think, had an incredible draft. Zach Root and Chuck Davalon at 40 and 41 were super I think that they were both value picks or in that range. Save a little bit of money on both. And then Cam Leiter in the second round, Jacob Maxwell highlighted him in his recent article. Really kind of got me behind the Cam Leiter to Los Angeles pick there. Despite how you feel about the injuries and the Dodgers dev system, he kind of fits perfectly with what they kind of want in prospects. And Landon Vodorik is one of my favorite selections in the whole draft at 104. You're going to get him under slot there, and the tools that this kid has is insane. And if you trust one organization to hammer out tools like a hit tool concern, it's Los Angeles Dodgers, in my opinion. Down the board, Mason Estrada, Mason Legenza, Anson Arrows out of Oregon, Jacob Frost out of Kansas State I liked a lot. Like they layered really good selections while having absolutely no money, and I think that's super impressive.
It is. Will, do you want to speak out against the Dodgers draft, or are you on board with Nate?
No, not at all. I mean, the Dodgers had a really good draft, and especially as Nate said, with the limited pool money that they ultimately had, I think the Root Davalon Arkansas tandem I think was really strong as well, and specifically with the Vodorik. With the Vodorik and his tools, that's something the Dodgers have done such a good job with in their system. As you mentioned, trying to get their guys to make more contact, and that's ultimately something I really trust the Dodgers to do. As well, another guy I'm looking forward to is Davian Hickson from Rice. He's an arm with some big stuff, a bulldog as well. We'll see if he ends up staying as a starter, but the stuff is good enough to be a possible back end reliever in a big league bullpen. So I really like that as well. But as we talk about a lot, the good orgs really rise to the top, and you see the different playing field that they're playing on compared to everyone else, and you can see it not only with their player development, but you can see it with the draft right away. And nobody does. You don't want to say nobody does more with less. Talking about the Los Angeles Dodgers, because obviously they spend $1 gajillion, and that's not how it normally works. But in a draft sense, I think they're that organization that everyone's striving to be. And the fact and what they're able to do with this draft, I think, is the latest example, and we're going to see them reap the benefits here pretty soon.
Well said. Dodgers do something good. Shock, awe, or agreement?
Shock. No, I'm just kidding. This is an organization that gets every little bit. Which one of these guys drafted in the 10th round is going to be a top 100 prospect in 10th round and later is going to be a top 100 prospect in a year and a half? I think it's Jacob Frost. Jack Frost. I think it's a ready-made starter, fifth starter type, and ultimately will never play for the Dodgers because the fifth starter doesn't play for the Dodgers. Actually, they might, because Dodgers arms always are getting hurt. But yeah, I'm a big fan of this draft, and honestly, I'm very excited to see a lot of these guys. I'd imagine Davalon gets sent to single A. I'd imagine Landon Vodorik does as well. I'd imagine Cam Leiter and Zach Root get shut down for the season. So I'm very excited to see some of these guys in my neck of the woods here quickly.
Yeah, they'll be right there with you, man. You'll have a lot of input on them, I'm sure, in short order. Guys, we are going to have a very, very specific way this round is going to work, so I'm going to hold you all to it. We're doing team losers, and I'm going to give you an example. My least favorite draft was the Atlanta Braves, and then I will have one sentence to describe why. And I'm not saying like sentence with semicolons and dashes and any of that trash. Just give me a sentence. If the Braves wanted to save money by drafting Tate Salvazine early, I wish they would have taken stronger swings at more upside for overslot deals later in the draft. And I do not think they did. So that kind of thing is what we're looking for. Rhys, you've been patient. So patient. And I'm going to let you go first, pal. What is the loserest of the loser teams?
The San Diego Padres. I do not like anything that they did. I felt like they picked guys at every single point of the draft that I just would not have drafted where they drafted them.
Wow. Okay. Any specific name that really jumps out as just no?
Do you want me to list all their selections? No, I'm just kidding. No, actually, kind of I like the Michael Selena pick. I think that is a really nice gamble at that point in the draft. If I'm going to say something positive, I was texting this guy Will Thompson about Ryan Weidman, because I was, I have to re-rank these prospects and everything. And I know Will likes him a little bit more than I do. I just don't think the guy's ever going to hit. What did I say in our group chat? If my mom had wheels, she would be a bicycle. That's what because Will was saying. What if he can ever hit? And the tools are pretty crazy, but I just don't think the guy's ever going to hit. He chases a lot and he hits a lot of ground balls.
Will, do you want to fight Rhys?
Well, listen, I'm not worried about the pure hit tool of Ryan Weidman because his hand-eye coordination is so insane, and he swings I think a lot of the ground, the high ground ball rate and those concerns. I think all of that can be combined into the issue that he swings at everything. I'm hoping that obviously he's going to be a free swinger, that they can tone it down a little bit. And if the Padres can tone it down a little bit, it lets his other tools shine through. He's got 70 raw. And he can, if he starts swinging at better pitches and making better contact, I think that'll really help with the ground ball issue. But there's no question that the chase rate at school of 40% is not going to work in pro ball. However, I think he is absolutely tooled up. He's a freak athlete. And he's a big body as well, really strong. And I think the power is in there if he can ultimately swing at the right pitches. And I'm giving him more of a chance to do that than I think Rhys is. But I see the concern. I see the concerns, but I think the tools are too enticing for me to knock him down. I'm fascinated to see how he ends up in pro ball, but I do like him a lot more than I think a lot of others do.
Well said. Well, we're going to stick with you. Team loser, who do you think did the worst? And then I'm going to give you a sentence or so to explain.
So my pick is the Yankees. I don't think the Yankees had a great draft. And my sentence,
well, I described this draft as sludge. I don't know that you want to work that in, but that's the word I use.
That's a pretty good word. I think limited resources and not a lot of upside and with really any of these picks.
Too bad.
I guess that's the sentence.
No, I think that's certainly a sentence. Nobody can argue with that.
That's why I can say it. I guess that sure.
That is a sentence.
That is a sentence. Rhys or Nate, either of you guys have anything against Will's selection of the Yankees, or are you going to let the Giant say what he wants?
That was my least favorite draft as well. So
sorry, Nate.
That was my second least favorite draft.
Very good. All right, Will, it sounds like we're all simpatico with you there. Nobody used the word sludge but me, but I think that qualifies me for disliking it as well.
I couldn't copy you, but I guess I ultimately copied Nate's pick, so
I guess that's fine. That's fine. It makes us feel good when we lay our heads down at night to know that you're thinking the same things as we are. Nathaniel, you're team loser, sir. You've had a perplexed look on your face for a moment now. I'm curious what you're cooking up.
I'm trying to make an argument for the Cincinnati Reds right now.
Ooh, okay.
I did not like their draft. Can I give you guys my bottom 5 drafts? Because I thought there was a clear bottom 5.
Please.
San Francisco, Atlanta, Cincinnati, Cleveland, and New York. I thought that they were super clearly in the bottom 5. Sorry, Rhys, I did not have the Padres there. We can talk about that.
They were just 6. It's okay.
No, they were actually in the A- range. I thought that they took a lot of high upside swings, but it's good that we disagree on something finally.
We're not the same person after all. Is this the organization that you trust to get the most out of those high upside swings, though? Is another question that factored in with my, their whole plus you have to factor in, and can they develop these guys or not?
I think
they'll develop one of them.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I'm not the biggest.
They can only focus on one player at a time. That's the running theory I have with the Padres. They can only focus on one prospect at any given time, and then everyone else suffers. Hopefully, that one prospect is Leo DeVries.
Yeah, right. So I'm gonna say Cleveland was my least favorite drafts, other than the Yankees. I think Laviolette, I just wouldn't have liked him anywhere he was picked, and then the rest of the draft just doesn't move me. Like Dean Curley does not move me. Aaron Walton was probably the best pick in this draft, and I don't think he's like. I would actually. I know Will and Rhys really like Aaron Walton. He's the best player here because there aren't any better options in my opinion. Nelson Keljo was cool, I suppose. There's no one else that gets me excited on this draft board. Will Hines was taken too early in my opinion. It just a lot of confusing decisions from Cleveland.
Rhys, any thoughts on the Cleveland draft? Any pushback on Nate?
No, I was very happy the day that I found out that Will was also an Aaron Walton guy. This dude is just going to be a pain in the behind for a long time. He gets on base because he gets hit more than anybody. He has emerging power. I think that the power might take another step forward. Maybe it goes from 50 to 55. And yeah, I just like him. He can play center field too, so he's kind of everything I want. Jace Laviolette, I think. While I don't like the player at the spot, I don't mind it as much because, we were talking about him being drafted about 10 picks earlier by the Orioles, because they love their fourth outfielders who might not be able to hit. Jace Laviolette might still be a fourth outfielder who might not be able to hit, but he at least does it in an organization that he does a better job. I don't know. I'm with Nate, though. This is a bottom draft. Nolan Schubert is just organizational malpractice. I do not understand the pick there. At one point, this guy was viewed as like a first round pick, and looking back on it, I cannot believe it. We're talking about a guy who just swings and misses at so much stuff, and there's no defensive value. It's not like a Spencer Jones problem where, like, even if the guy's swinging and missing a lot, he's a good defender in the outfield. Schubert doesn't provide anything else. There's no secondary skills here.
Well said. Will, thoughts on the Guardians draft? Any pushback to Nate at all, or are we just going to let Nate have his way with this?
Well, if I wasn't going to pick the Yankees for my worst draft, it was going to be Cleveland. I already talked about how Schubert was my least favorite pick in the draft already, so I won't necessarily go and rehash that. I will take this opportunity to say how much I like Aaron Walton, though. And when I got to take a look at U of A this year, I thought he was better than Brendan Summerhill. So I'm going to that's the hill I'm going to die on. I think Walton's going to be ultimately a better player than Summerhill. And not to mention, a big knock on Summerhill is like, oh, like, I like the profile, but he's not going to play center field. You know who is going to play center field? Aaron freaking Walton's going to play center field, and he's going to play a damn good one. And so he is tooled up. Rhys is right. The power isn't totally there yet, but he hits the ball hard. He plays a million miles an hour, and I love Walton. And so while I didn't like pretty much anything else they did, I really was a fan of Walton even in that spot. And I think then the hill I'm going to die on is I think he's going to be better than Brendan Summerhill, who I think a lot of people are talking about, like, oh, how do you fall? I think Walton's a better player.
Can I expand on that really quickly?
Sure.
I'm 100% with you, because even we're talking about with Summerhill, we're like, well, we're projecting him to hit for more power in game, right? Well, you're doing that with the 40th overall selection, right? With Walton, he's like a little bit later, and he can actually play center field, unlike Summerhill. I just don't understand the whole Summerhill sort of thing. I know I've probably talked about it enough. I just didn't understand it. It doesn't shock me that the Rays got him for about $2 million. It's probably what I would have paid for him as well. He's not what I think people are telling themselves, and what I think he's going to be. Because I just don't, if you're not going to hit for power and you can't play center field, how does that profile like perform well in right field? Like, we don't see right fielders like that on good teams who are contact first guys who aren't really good, really good defenders. You need to have some tools in right field, and I just don't think he has those.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think if Summerhill could play a 60 center field, then I think that's a different conversation. But that's not the strength of his game. That's not what he can do. So I think Walton's the better play there. And it was funny on that team. And to be honest with you, when I went and saw Aaron Walton, I had no idea who he was when I walked in and watched him, and he just blew me away. So I'm a big fan, and I'm excited to see what he does.
Guys, you heard Will. Aaron Walton. He's toolsed up. He's caked up. He didn't know who he was, but he loves him. And better than Brendan Summerhill. And that's the Summerhill that Will is willing to die on. So there you go.
That's a good one, Drew.
Thank you.
I like that one.
That's why I continue to get paid. All right. Well, guys, wonderful job with this draft. I had some Guardians notes, but I think you guys have nailed it. You covered it. Excellent job. How about this? One more bonus topic for the road. Can we get behind that? One name, not a sentence, not an explanation. One name. One name that everybody but you is overlooking. Who is a diamond in the rough in this draft that everybody listening should go and look up and put a star by, maybe a highlight, maybe a circle around that name, maybe put a smiley face, some stickers next to it. Rhys, who's the one diamond in the rough you're going to put your name by?
I like Ben Jacobs of the Tigers. I think it's good stuff. Sorry, I blew up the bit already.
You already did. Yes, you did. Will, who's the diamond in the rough?
I also love Ben Jacobs, but my diamond in the rough will be Joshua Flores for Milwaukee.
Very good. Nathaniel, the diamond in the rough is who?
Gable Pentecost of the Houston Astros.
Interesting. Very good. Well, fabulous job to the three of you. In my mind, one of you I thought was the draft recap winner. One of you I thought did okay. One of you I thought was the draft recap loser. But if you want my full breakdown on your draft recap analysis, you're going to have to listen to the next episode of On Deck when we have the recap of the draft recap. But right now, we are going to throw you to the drop teams, and then we've got a little bit of something for you. So sit right there. We'll be right back.
Thank you to the drop teams for that fantastic musical interlude that I know Nate picked really well. Anyways, we are going to do what's on our mind. I have been freed and exonerated from any sort of criminal underdoing, so that bit is dead. What's going on at Prospects Live? There's a lot going on. We are doing draft recaps. Jake Bargary has been doing his college program winners of the 2025 draft. I'm going to assume that because one of the colors is orange, one of the teams that won is also orange. Maybe Tennessee orange, who knows? We have Jacob Maxwell doing the best pick in every round of the 2025 draft. We had our fantastic draft stream, and that was, again, if you really want to go back and watch that, I think it was a lot of fun. 10 hours of nonstop baseball content by me, Nate. Nate was dealing with some sickness, let me tell you. I think it's a HIPAA violation if I tell people what you actually were dealing with. So I'm not going to do that because I don't want to get sued by Nate. And Adam will probably be his lawyer.
I'm not going to.
I think I could.
I will.
I think I could take. You. I think I could take Adam in a court of law. Let's be real. Anyways, we have on the Dynasty side, we have the Sunday Smokes article, second half heroes. Doc Eisenhower is going to figure that out for us. We have the Dynasty baseball pickups, guys going through their weekend pickups, and we have the daily sheets rolling on. We're going to be re-ranking top 20s. Actually, they're already re-ranked. And we have the top 100 to re-rank coming out soon. And with that, what is on your mind? Who do I want to go to first? Nathaniel.
We do the draft at the end, my friend. I'm sorry.
That's right. I forgot we were doing a draft.
Declines.
Okay. Will, you will go first this time as our guest.
All right. Thank you.
All 7 foot of you.
So I've been hearing a lot this week. It's almost getting to college football time. I don't know. I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say Drew loves college football. Do you like Tennessee football, Drew, or do you not really care about football? I don't know.
I enjoy college football. Yes.
Okay. Cool. Great.
I'm not married to it like I am baseball, but I do enjoy it. My whole family are the Drew. What I am for Tennessee baseball, they are for Tennessee football. So they tolerate me, and I tolerate them.
All right. So anyway, there were SEC media days this week, and a certain coach from Missouri, their baseball program had quite the year. But for football, Eli Drinkwitz went up there and suggested a 30-team college football playoff. And I am so tired of this. I'm so tired of it in basketball. I'm so tired of it in football. We are just so desperate for more money, for more TV network money, that we are just going to totally ruin college sports. And not that, that there's certain parts of it that are already gone, but you know what? I can live with that. Do not mess with these tournaments. We could just continue to add on more and more teams and give them participation trophies to get into the playoffs. Making the playoffs is supposed to be hard. Like, if we are going to, we're at this point, we're serious. I like the college football playoff. I think 8 teams was the perfect number, but we had to make it 12. And congratulations, we got like a bunch of blowouts in the first round last year. We'll see if that continues. I think there's probably a good chance it does continue. I'm so tired of these, and I'm so tired of everyone being so desperate for more money and more money and more money, because it has just ruined it. I mean, we're talking about in basketball, maybe making a 76 team NCAA tournament. Are you kidding me? Because if we're going to add some of the more good mid-major basketball teams in there, fine, I can roll with that. But we're not. We're going to put in a teams, I don't know, that went like 7-13 in the ACC. We'll put in like Miami or something, just so everyone can so all like 3 Miami basketball fans can get all fired up about it. It is a travesty what is going on with trying to expand the playoffs. The MLB playoffs has already expanded far more than it should, and that's why the deadline's not going to be as crazy as it used to be. And it has just ruined everything. Making the playoffs is hard. Let's leave it at that. Stop expanding the playoffs, please. Stop. And Eli Drinkwitz saying 30 teams making the college football playoff, because it'll give more teams a chance to get more excited and fired up. If you want your fan base to be excited, win enough games to get into the playoffs. And Eli Drinkwitz, you play in the SEC. You have plenty of chances to do that. So that's it. That's the end of my rant. Stop with this nonsense. Stop being so greedy that you just need to add more teams and give out more participation trophies. It's ruining the playoffs in all sports.
Guys, can we get like a respectful round of applause there?
And
Rhys, where can they find you on social media?
Thank you.
And with that, Will Thompson is now hired by ESPN. I'm going to just talk about it. I'm going to go next. The Justin Bieber album. It is fantastic. We don't have to talk a lot about it. We have some things I think we're going to get into a lot of conversation about. So I think it's the best album of the year so far. I truly enjoy every single one. Drewski's on the album for some reason. So yeah,
not me, the other
Justin
one.
Bieber. No, yeah, the less famous one. The one. Yeah, I'm just a big fan of this album. I don't know what you guys think. I'm man enough to admit that I really like this album, and I think that anybody who gets mad at another man listening to this album, there's this thing called therapy. You can go take it apart.
Deeper issues we can't solve. So
yeah, exactly. That's not what we're here on deck for.
I think I'm going to speak for both Will and myself here because I have a feeling we're in lockstep. Haven't listened to it. Maybe I will listen to it now that I know my friends like it. Never been the biggest pop guy, not necessarily my genre. But I'm not above saying that Justin Bieber has bangers that I'll sing on a karaoke night. Will, are we agreeing there?
Nate, you nailed it. I would not consider myself a believer, but there are songs that he has that if you're just gonna claim that, oh, it's like he sucks, every song that he makes sucks, you're just a hater.
When Baby comes on at the bar, like I do get fired up.
That is a bar banger.
It's like,
There's a lot of bar bangers from the Biebs. And I've listened to a couple of his new songs, didn't mind them, but I'm not the person to talk to here. I think, Drew, I want to hear your thoughts on this.
So it was funny because I need to shout out Lucas Morel. On the last episode of the Dynasty podcast, we were talking about somebody and something came along with like, all they do is hit. And I was like, yeah, they're like Justin Bieber. All they do is make hits. And Lucas was like, yeah, that new album is great. I hadn't listened to it yet. When I got home from Atlanta, Mallory had said, wow, this is all I've listened to all weekend. It's so good. And so she played it for me. Yesterday, we went to do some things. Fabulous. All of the songs I heard were at bare minimum fine on this album. So, yeah, I like it. Song recommendations.
Daisies is a great song.
Daisies I liked.
That has me dancing around the house. Like I put in my AirPods.
I need to listen.
Moving and grooving.
Single guys don't listen to Justin Bieber, but we need to break that mold. That's the thing.
Go Baby.
We haven't heard.
What was good?
Go Baby's good.
I'm looking for the other ones that I like.
He's professing his love for his wife and everything. It's just a beautiful album. If you don't love your partner that much, then like, what are you doing?
Yeah. Probably not for you. Daisy's good. All I Can Take, pretty good. Mallory also mentioned, and I don't know that this is a controversial take. Mallory said she really likes the song Sweet Spot, which there's connotations. I'll just let you guess as to it as you will.
Yeah, that one has Sexy Red on it, and Sexy Red is normally a hit every single time.
Rhys, Mallory said there was no chance Sexy Red wasn't on this album because B loved her, but Mallory also said if that feature was SZA, it would have gone unreal.
Well, SZA is generational. I like Sexy Red. SZA is probably one of the best musicians. She might be the best pure musician out there right now.
That's a great call. I'm not going to fight you. I think that Sweet Spot is an interesting enough song, but there were some of the bars in Sexy Red's feature where I was just like, Like, what a bizarre thing to say. Like, that's kind of just there for the rhyme. It makes no really whatever. And I'm not spitting on Sexy Red. She's fine, but I do agree that SZA would have just torn that all the way up. Good album, solid album. Do recommend you guys check it out. It's not a bad one at all. Rhys said the good one. Daisies is probably the standout track, but I really like Go Baby as well. So I think it's a great album.
Great too.
Moving on from one music topic to another, Drew, what's on your mind?
Okay. What's on my mind is
Time to fight.
Time to fight. We're not gonna fight. We're not gonna fight. I know I'm right. It would be a fight if I knew that I could be wrong. I'm not wrong. I very, very rarely get this kind of indignant about something, and I think you guys would agree with me on that. I'm not wrong about this. I'm not wrong. This is an absolute fact. Anybody who says Coldplay is bad is either lying, has never listened to Coldplay, or is unaware that Coldplay has a song that fits their genre. And to prove this, I am going to make believers out of all of you. Nathaniel, I have a Coldplay recommendation for you. And so what I'm proposing here is I'm just going to propose a Coldplay song for all of you based on what I know you enjoy. So Nate, I know you to enjoy country music. I know that you enjoy the hip hop every now and again. I know that you enjoy some kind of indie folky type stuff. If there's any universe that you don't like the song Sparks by Coldplay, I will, I don't know. You win. You win the bet. I need you to listen to Sparks and then tweet, hashtagging whatever or tagging me or whatever. But I know you'll like that song.
I
Rhys?
believe I've heard it, but it's been a while. That's all.
Oh, that's fine, because again, I'm right. You'll like that song. I would bet nearly anything you would like that song. Rhys, you have Rhys, I love you. You are such a good friend to me, and I love our friendship. You have some very strange music tastes, and I like that about you. You are the one I'm most worried about. Now, I want to ask, are you totally sure that there's not a single Coldplay song you like?
There is not a single Coldplay song that I like actively dislike everything that they put out. I'm sure they're fine people. Honestly, I don't even say if you don't know. If you don't know why people are talking about Coldplay a lot, I don't know what sort of rock you're living under.
We're not talking about that. That's specifically written here in capital letters. We're not talking about that.
But that might be the most interesting thing that's ever happened at a Coldplay concert. Like there's never been a musical part that I just don't. Coldplay is not my music, man. I don't get it. We talked about bar bangers. Is there any Coldplay bar bangers? I don't think so.
Viva La Vida. Clocks.
Oh, that's
Yellow.
a banger. Oh,
you are wrong. You are wrong.
That's such a good song.
I don't think so.
Rhys, it's okay. Listen, buddy, again, I love you. Every now and again, everybody has to be wrong. And I hate it. This is your time. You have to be wrong.
It's fine. I'm okay to admit it. I'm not doing it as like some sort of bit. I just don't enjoy their music. I
don't believe you're not doing this as a bit at this point.
No, this isn't a bit. I promise. This is actually a conversation. Me and Danielle. I don't think she's here. Yeah,
I wish
we
she
talk
was.
about it a lot.
I wish she was, because she could talk some sense into you in a way that I used to think that maybe I could, but apparently I cannot. Will, your music taste, sir? I know that you said you enjoy hip hop pretty extensively.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Okay. You're going to also be a bit of a tricky one. Let's see.
I don't mind Coldplay though, so there's not as much on the line here as the others, but
let's see.
But I kind of like everything. Like there's not very many genres of music that I inherently. Well, that's not true.
Oh no. Okay. I have one for you for sure. Well, your song is going to be Lost Plus featuring Jay-Z from the album Prospects March. The song Lost by Coldplay is already tremendous. Great song. But when Jay-Z raps on it, it's excellent. It's I'm going to have to listen to that whenever we hang up the call.
I love Jay-Z, so this is something I'll have to listen to and report back on.
I expect a tweet from all of you. And Rhys, I know that you will tweet. I know you will tweet. But I think if we're talking bar bangers specifically, I could go on and on. But I think Viva La Vida, Clocks, Yellow, I feel like I'm probably forgetting some. There's plenty. And while
You're
I'm
forgetting
talking
some
about,
because they're not memorable songs. So
okay, that's fine. That's fine. Look, I know I'm right, and that's okay. Coldplay's not my favorite band, but I think that it's gotten to the point where people, like the scene from the 40-Year-Old Virgin, that like a seminal movie. You know how I know you're gay? You like Coldplay. That's hilarious. That's a very funny joke. Obviously not, kosher for today's time, but funny moment, funny joke in that movie. Nate, another one. I know I told you, Sparks, Trouble, The Scientist. Those are right up Nate's alley with your folky nonsense.
I'm sure I've listened to them when I was 12, but we'll rehash. We'll see.
That's okay. You probably did listen to them.
that was like 2 years ago.
I was about to say 3-4 years ago. That's totally fine. Totally fine. All right. Anyway, so again, I think that it's a little wild to say that Coldplay doesn't have good songs when they very clearly do.
Fair enough. Well,
Sorry for my bad takes.
We're gonna go right into my topic here, though, and sticking with the Coldplay theme, we're gonna draft. And we're going to draft the worst places to get caught cheating. Where should you not be with your HR representative if you're a CEO? And this is going to go fast. We don't have to explain anything if we don't want to. We got a couple minutes here, and we're going to draft. And we're going to go Will Thompson first, then Drew, then Rhys, then myself. All right? And we're just going to...
How many rounds are we going?
4, of course.
We have to have the square.
And there's no preparation.
Is this draft going to get weirder than the 2025 MLB draft to tie it into what we talked about earlier? Who knows? I feel like this one's going to go off the rails real quick.
I think that this is by the 4th round, we are going to be getting weird, but that's okay. Will, you got about 1 minute before your pick is on the clock. So if you need to consider this, I don't think that there's a clear 1-1, and I don't think we can take the concerts.
I have a question. Who is the HR representative of Prospects Live staff that we're cheating on our significant other with? This way let's just do Adam.
Ooh.
Adam feels like an HR sort of person. You take Adam out. Where do you not want to get caught cheating with Adam? I needed a face for this sort of thing. I feel like it makes it that much better.
Will, do you got a first round pick here?
I do. My official one is going to be more specific, but it could end up being more broad. But I'm going to say a minor league baseball game. And I say a minor league baseball game and kind of looping in with small entertainment venues because there's a really good chance that you end up on the Jumbotron at a minor league baseball game just by sitting there. So that would be the number one spot I would not bring somebody I was having an affair with.
Solid pick there, and we're on to Drew.
So when I think about this, I don't want to give you guys too much of my strategy here, but I think that it's got to be a combination of the romantic element has to be on the. I'm not giving my strategy on cheating with Adam, but look, I think that the romantic element has to be there. Because, like, Will, if I saw you and Adam at a minor league game, I wouldn't be surprised at all. As a matter of fact, I think that would be a pretty logical place to see the two of you together. But when you add the romantic element that makes it spicy.
Okay.
So I'm going to say Super Bowl Jumbotron is my number one. I think that, like, there is no other event with more people there on a yearly basis. And then it is televised to hundreds and billions of people. Super Bowl Jumbotron. That's my first pick. I think there's such to be romantic in that instance. You are caught, permanently caught.
I can't believe there's strategy involved in this. I was thinking of the most awkward places you can get caught.
I'm going a totally different way. I'm
going like in line at Subway. Imagine me and Adam just hanging out. And someone walks in line.
Is that your pick?
That's my pick. I feel like that's hilarious.
All right.
I had something very similar to that. My first pick is going to be anywhere in the city of St. Louis. How embarrassing would that be? Just you're taking your girl to St. Louis? Your side piece to St. Louis? Really?
Adam's going to be really upset about that.
I don't
You're taking
care.
Adam to St. Louis. Adam's probably gonna have a great time.
That sucks. My second pick in the snake is going to be body cam on live PD television.
Ooh, that's a good one.
That's
That's
so
a good one.
great.
That's a good one.
That's a
Oh,
good
that's
one.
a good
That's
one.
a really good one.
Oh, that's a
And we're
good
back
one.
to Rhys.
Oh, that's a good one, Nate.
Where would I not want to get caught? Ooh, I'm gonna stick with the TV theme. Shopping for a home on HGTV. House Hunters. Could you imagine?
Ooh, yes, I
That
can.
takes some balls right there.
I mean,
would.
although you going looking for a house with your affair is certainly kind of takes away the purpose of an affair.
Well,
That's just a relationship at that point.
We're gonna let him take it.
I mean,
Bad pick.
I like it.
Okay, that's fine. I'll take the bad pick. I think it'd be really funny if you just didn't think about it. Like if like let's just say Danielle saw me and Adam buying a house together on HGTV. Could you imagine you're just sitting there together? Like, let's watch HGTV today, and you're like stressing. You're like, oh God, I hope this is not the episode that I just filmed. I thought it'd be great. I'm adding a little bit more context to this.
Okay. All right, I have a great answer. I'm really happy with. I need you guys to put yourselves in the shoes of this and tell me how horrible it would be if I logged on to record on deck and I'm just cheating with Adam. While recording
Adam
on
are
deck.
recording on deck.
while recording on deck.
While recording on deck. I'm very satisfied with that answer.
Will, to you for 2.
Okay, my second pick is going to be apple picking because everybody knows that in the fall, what is the number one thing that guys do not do on their own accord on Saturdays in the fall, and that is apple picking. We want to be at home watching college football. And men who are not having an affair are probably at home watching college football. You know what, men? So if you were caught with somebody else apple picking
If you were caught with Adam,
on a Saturday, if you were caught with apple picking with Adam on a Saturday in the fall, there's just nothing you can say. There's nothing you can say, nothing to cover it up because you don't actually want to be apple picking. So that's my
forced you to.
yeah. Adam in this case forced me to go apple picking because I do not want to do that on a Saturday in the fall. So that's what I'm rolling with.
And you know your girlfriend asked you and you said no, but then your side piece asked you and you said yes.
Yeah.
Your side piece, Adam. Like we need to
Will, you got another
keep
pick.
hammering this home.
Oh, I got another pick. Let me think. What is a Chuck E. Cheese?
Oh,
That's great.
All right.
Chuck E.
what are you
Cheese.
doing there?
Charles Entertainment Cheese. How dare you?
You know, if you're like,
how dare you bring an affair to that wholesome establishment?
that's worst places. I wasn't talking about good places. I was talking about worst places to get caught. A Chuck E. Cheese for a lot of reasons would be one of those places.
True to you.
Simply tragic. Okay, so again, I'm trying to game this draft, guys. I think that again, every one of us, along with Adam, have one thing in common. We work for Prospects Live. So what could get us in the most trouble? It's being seen by our bosses. So give me the streets of Boise, Idaho, because that's where you could theoretically run into either of our bosses. We could run into Ross or Smada. What a terrible place to be caught cheating with Adam.
Ross sees you holding hands with Adam.
Ross muscularly sees me holding hands with Adam from across the street and says, "What the hell's happening here?" Not that I think Ross would judge. Ross may be like, "Hey, I could see it. They're a lovely couple," but that's a bad place to get caught.
I don't think we have an HR policy here. So
I don't know. We're having this conversation. That pretty much tells me we don't.
The burner account would have been shut down moons ago. But Rhys, it's your pick.
Mm-hmm.
You mean the burner account that you definitely don't run?
That's right. The one Nate doesn't run. Exactly.
Where would be really? I didn't even think this far in advance. I wish I could trade my pick. I wish I could trade down. but I can't. Where would be?
You could
awful
pass
to
like I
cut?
did in the fruit draft.
Yeah, you can go after me if you want. I got 2 ready.
Yeah, you can go ahead. Go ahead with me on this one. I don't really. I'm not gonna pass on a pick though. You already lost the fruit draft when you made your first pick, but like passing on it really solidified that you lost that draft.
My first pick, or my third pick, is the Facebook group Is This Your Boyfriend?
Ooh.
Imagine if you actually got caught on that Facebook group.
Oh, wow.
Adam posted you on there.
So that's going to be my third pick. I think I'm
Having-
killing this draft, by the way.
Having
I don't
the
think this is a good
having the
sign for me.
Ozbot for Rhys's laughter right then made it worth it. That was hilarious.
And
Right,
my fourth
track
pick
you.
is the Container Store.
Oh, what an awful.
The
place
worst
to be
place in the world outside of St. Louis. That would just suck. That's where I'm going with my 2.
caught. Ooh,
Rhys, you
that's
have 2
fine.
picks now, technically.
Oh shit! I do have 2 picks. Where is a really bad like? Oh, at Target, you only go to Target if you have a partner, right? Like, imagine. No, actually, no. Dang it!
Go to Target all the time.
Yeah. Well, with Adam.
Think about mall stores. A lot of bad ones.
There's a lot of really bad ones in Victoria's Secret. They have men's products there. They do. Getting caught at Victoria's Secret, and I need to think of something really sad. Oh, like let's consider like the worst restaurant that people go to. This is gonna really upset some people probably. What's one that's really gross?
Little Caesars.
Oh, don't you dare! Little Caesars.
That's why I said it.
Oh, like Long John Silver's. Imagine being caught cheating at Long John Silver's.
Hold on, what's the medieval one where they like
Medieval times.
medieval times?
That's so good.
Man, you're gonna pick medieval times. That's such a good answer.
You guys are never gonna answer that. Drew, it's your pick.
Oh man. Okay. Well. Wow. I think I've got to say this one. I think the worst place to be caught would be my house. Imagine like I'm caught at my house.
You took this in a different route, and we'll see how it pays off. I'm interested.
I don't know. We'll see.
This is going to be a tough Twitter release. I don't know if this can be released on the Twitter machine. We'll have to think about that one. Might be a burner release. I don't know.
Burner release.
A burner release.
I'll have to ask the owner of that account. But Will, you have the last pick in the draft.
All right. So
you need to have Adam on, by the way. He can be the one who votes because he's the one we're all cheating with.
So my last pick is, and this is a terrible place to get caught cheating, in an Uber that is driven by a mutual friend / coworker / whatever. So in an Uber that is
specific.
In an
Do we need to
Uber
talk
driven
Will?
by no. In an Uber driven by a mutual friend. We can label it that way.
What
Because-
So like Will, you and Adam get into an Uber. You're calling an Uber to go to dinner, and it's like Huth driving. You're like, oh my god.
Trevor.
That would be exactly. That would be. Well, I mean, Trevor's an interesting pick. 'Cause Trevor might be like, okay,
No judgment.
no. But yeah, there we go. There's the final pick. I feel pretty good about my draft.
Well, what an interesting draft idea, and I'm sorry to our listeners for putting you through that, but that might have been one of our better drafts yet. But just to put a bow on this whole thing, thank you guys for listening to the On Deck podcast. You never know what you're going to get over here. Willie, why don't you just plug yourself real fast, man? You know, just where the people can find you and what you've been up to.
Sure. So yeah, you can follow me on.
Does it need to be taken that way, Will? How about you shout yourself out?
Well, you can find me on Twitter, X, whatever you're calling it now. You can follow me on Will_Thompson33. There's some days where I'll put out some decently thought out stuff. Some days that I won't. You just never know. You never know what you're gonna get. So you can follow me on Twitter there. If you want to follow me on Instagram and watch me get excited about the Red Sox and when Rutgers football's around the corner, you can follow me on Instagram, Will_T_33, if that's what you want. And I don't really have any other socials, so I guess that.
Cool. Rhys, where can the people find you?
Oh my god, this episode was crazy. You can find me at the Coldplay concert. Just kidding, you can't find me there. I'll go into that nonsense. You can find me on Twitter at rhysbwhite. You can follow me on Bluesky at Rhys White. You can follow me on Instagram at Rhys White. And yeah, I just, just doing social stuff.
Cool. Drew, where can the people find you?
You can find me on the Twitter machine at drewisokay. You can find me on Instagram at drewisokay. You can find me at the Prospects Live website. Membership starts as low as $5 a month for all the best content on the interwebs for baseball. And you can find me on Bluesky at rhyswhite.bsky.social. Be sure to tag me in lots of stuff there too. Again, rhyswhite.bsky.social. Tag me in tons of stuff there.
There you go. You guys can find me. We're going to switch it up, go a little less niche. You guys can email me at rasmussenbaseball@gmail.com. That's my burner email. So go ahead and reach out to me there. And I also want to put a bet out there. If you can find me in the real world, I will. What should I give to the first person who listens to our podcast when they find me? I'll give you a free month of Prospects Live at the 80 tier. I'll boost you up for a couple months. How about that? I know. I'm gonna do something. So if you can find me on the streets of Seattle, Eugene, there you go, and I'll give you a high five too. But that's gonna do it for us over here at the On Deck podcast. Thank you guys for listening, and we will see you on Friday.
Goddamn big brother, tell me where have you been?